name's Joanne Anderson and I'm the Mayor of Liverpool. I've been Mayor for coming up to 2 years and it's the end of my term in a couple of weeks. I've had quite a tough job. I was cleaning up a mess after somebody else and I've managed to achieve good stuff while I've been Mayor. So to have half a term, clean up a mess and get some good stuff you want to do, I feel quite proud of my achievements, particularly as I'm one of the first black female mayors to run a core city in the whole of Europe, we think. I'm waiting for someone to correct me and say, no, I'm a black female mayor in a core city.
So what are your plans once you leave office, since it's in May, correct?
Yeah. So my job before this was an equality, diversity and inclusion consultant, and I've also been very involved in social impact investing. So that's the fields I'd like to go into. So equality, diversity and inclusion, I've done like trained companies, done plans for companies, worked with workforces to make them more diverse and things like that. And then social impact investing is those businesses that run businesses, so create jobs and opportunities for people, but also have a good social impact, so help people with social problems such as, you know, homelessness or, you know, being in care or being immobile, things like that, that they get the proper funding to grow, because I believe in social business and good business, and I think we need to support better as a society business that not only does, you know, contributes to our economy but does good work as well.
So do you think that field of corporate social responsibility is going to grow a lot in the future?
So I don't know, I'm a bit disappointed in what we've achieved so far under the banner of corporate social responsibility. I felt like, I suppose it's how you treat it. Some companies really get stuck in and do great things. Some companies just try and tick a box. And I think, you know, getting to do really good work, and I think they now call it ESG, don't they? Environmental, social and good governance. And I am a lot about that. Really making a difference with those things. When a company is committed to it, I think we do a great job. But our track record, I think, on CSR isn't the best.
Mm-hmm. So how did you cope with taking office after the controversy of the previous mayor's arrest?
But whilst having the same name as well, it was pretty ridiculous, you know. So it did give me brand recognition straight away, though. So the first weekend when you have to campaign and ask people to vote for you, the first weekend they were going, oh, you Joe Anderson's daughter, and then once they realised it wasn't that, and then it come out I'd personally been bankrupt in my own personal finances, and that was in the press. So it went from you Joe Anderson's daughter, oh, you're the one with bankruptcy, to knowing who I was and voting for me. It actually helped in terms of brand recognition. Obviously, it paints a bad picture for all of us as politicians. People believe if one person's done something wrong, then the rest of us have. He hasn't actually been convicted of anything yet, and so everything's alleged. So it's left a really bad impression on the city and on other politicians. But as I say, we've had government intervention. Everything I've done has been open, honest, accountable and transparent. And I'm proud of that too, even though it's been really painful at times.
Mm-hmm. Going on the theme of being proud, what are you most proud of throughout your term as being mayor?
So the thing I talked to you about, the triple lock, which is a little bit like ESG. So making sure everything we do is through the lens of diversity, equality, inclusion, social impact and environmental impact. So with Eurovision, I've signed an agreement that's one of the first climate change agreements around, asking all our vendors who come to Eurovision to tackle climate emergency as well. So we're aiming for net zero events, which I think, will be a game changer, won't it, with large events having an environmental impact. I've got a waste strategy for the region. How you manage waste here is tremendous compared to how we manage it in the UK. Really low amounts of residual waste that you have to get rid of. Our recycling, repurposing, it's really poor. So I've got a waste strategy for the region to tackle that. In terms of social impact, I've put a social impact policy in place. Community asset transfer policy, which means community organisations can get land and assets off the council, and also community-led housing policy, which means that communities can develop their own housing and we will work with them and giving them land to do so, as well as on the equality side. We've got a teachers professional network addressing anti-racism in schools. That's the first of its kind, and I've restructured the whole city region around equality, so the people from the region have been selected and can contribute to the decision making. So I'm quite proud of the stuff I've achieved under that, whilst cleaning up a mess.
Is there anything that you wish you could have spent more time on?
Yeah, I think I feel a little bit cheated getting half a term. Most people get 4 years. I'm kind of just getting started now. Like, for example, if I have to speak on something at the council, before I'd need notes and briefings, like I'm getting to understand and know everything. And, you know, we've got a year taken off because of COVID, because everyone, the sort of voting went over for a year, but also because of the government intervention. And so I'm amazed at what I've achieved in half a term. And I feel that feels a bit unfair as well, that it's only half a term, but then half of me is like, I'm delighted to be able to get back to my life and get a bit of a breather come 2 years.
Yeah. How did you decide to get into politics?
So, were you in the previous presentation?
No. We had a
So I was brought up in these flats that were, they look like prison when I show the picture of them, and they were really badly made. They were made out of asbestos, which lots of things were back in that time. But my mum was politically active, and she got, with other women, she got the flats knocked down. So from a very young age, politics has been all around me, from highly political family, and then through trade union activity when I was in my early 20s, 1920, I become active in the trade union movement, and that kind of steers you towards being, you know, a councillor and MP and stuff like that. I actually come away from that after a couple of years, but I've always had political opportunity, if you like, because, well, if you're brought up around a bakery, you know how to make bread. If you're brought up in a political family, you know how to do politics. So kind of that was my experience.
Right, and how do you think that we can improve representation of women and minorities in politics, especially? Because I think in terms of female equality and minority inclusion, it's lagging behind all the other sectors.
It is, and there's a lot of barriers for women, but what motivated me was I seen an office in Texas where 19 black women had stood up to that office, and they'd taken over, I don't understand some American politics, but they'd taken over every position in that office, and that inspired me. I thought, you know, them black women in America, they just step up and get on with it. So we have got barriers, but also we need to step up and do it. You know, we can say we're being excluded, but if we never go for it, then we never know. So I think now is a better time. You know, there'll never be a better time to be included. And I think, you know, by working together and being empowered, and women supporting other women, and, you know, male allies as well. But I think, you know, we have to step up. We have to get involved.
Right. And for one last question, do you have any advice to those of us who are our age, the younger generation, who are looking to get into politics, international relations? What would you say? So politics can be quite an ugly world, and don't take anything personally. You know, you have to protect yourself and your self-confidence and your self-identity. Be aware of yourself and be aware of what impact you have on others, but don't take how others treat you as gospel. Because, you know, if people are discriminating against you or stereotyping you or thinking of you as less, don't take that on board. So you have to be quite thick-skinned and, you know, have a sense of your own identity, your own family and friends around you. Critically analyse what feedback you get, but always be strong and don't take it personally, because if people have got a problem with it, it's usually about them, it's not normally about you.